Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners of the Filipino podcasting machine, Quincy D, and with me as always, a man formerly known as Timbo Slice Timmy B. Before we start, please take a moment to subscribe to us on YouTube and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to support the show, check out middaysquares.com and use code FIGHTINSIGHT15 to save 15%. On today's episode, we talked to one of the most recognizable BKFC fighters on the planet, break down Smith versus Rock, talk about Jorge, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it!
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Quincy D, Fight Insight, yeah.
All right, our guest today used to just be a sweetheart, but after 4 incredible bare knuckle performances, including 2 Fight of the Nights and 1 Fight of the Year, she's now the BKFC Sweetheart, a mixed martial artist that made the jump to BKFC after going 4-2 in her pro MMA career. She's now a staple in bare knuckle fighting and is one of those fighters, just like our buddy Brian Barberena, Prince, just like a Justin Gaethje, just like a Michael Chandler. When she is on the card, you have to watch because it is guaranteed to be a war. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast from California,
Charisa, the BKFC Sweetheart Sigala.
Love it.
You said it. You said it wrong.
But it sounded really good.
Oh man, so we're gonna edit
It's
that.
a SH, a Charisa. Oh my goodness. What are the odds of that, Charisa? It was like
He was so pumped. That's what
Man, I got it. Oh man, I am so sorry. Listen,
he was so excited. He was so
I'm gonna
excited.
send you a care package. I am so sorry.
You're good. You're good. It's cool. Okay, so I have a coach that I still don't correct him that I was with forever in MMA and he never says my name right. And that's a coach. So
Yeah.
you are okay.
There was a lady I worked with
Yes.
forever, and we called her Marzina.
Mm-hmm.
For 5 years worked with this lady. We all called her Marzina. And then one day she goes, my name's actually Marjena. And we're like, what? Why wouldn't you have told us for 5 years?
So this is the thing. When you are like us with these names that you cannot say because our parents wanted us to be different, which I love the name. You're so used to it because when we're in school, you know how many teachers say our name wrong and how many times we have to correct people. So it's just you're fine.
Listen, when you have Filipino parents, man, they love to go to town with the names. Like they go. My name was originally going to be Princess Angel. How do you think I'd have got through elementary school? Like brutal, man.
You're like mom,
right?
Come on now.
I'm just so glad I wasn't named Doormat or something. That's
yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
That was close. That's his middle name. That's his middle name. Charisa, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Just a couple days ago, your birthday.
Happy
Congratulations.
birthday to you.
Oh, God.
Happy birthday. Sorry.
You're good. I ate lots of cake. It was delicious.
Nice. Now, Charisa, first thing I kind of got to ask you, how has the fan reaction been to you since moving to BKFC? I mean, you've been a huge star since there, right?
Oh, yeah. So my fan base grew exponentially, just that jump over. And I think for me, I think I've always been passionate about fighting. This is something I love to do. This is just one of those things, like people have hobbies, people have pastimes. I just fell into it and I've always loved it. And I think for me, especially this last one, because I was seeing how much reaction they were getting. Because I know there was a couple fights that fell out, and I know that they knew I was on the card. So I noticed towards the end they started really pushing that I was on the card, and I started seeing more my face and just seeing the comments and the reaction. It was overwhelming. It like in a good way. It was really overwhelming. I'm actually having the kind of impact I've always dreamed of, but I don't do this for that. I do this because I completely love it, but to see that people can see that is amazing. Because it's like people that are in arts, they pour their heart and soul in that canvas. It's sort of this. It's the same thing with us when we're in there. And overall, people love that I go in there, and I love the wars. There's not many people that are in there I don't want to get off, Letty. I'm like, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
try to clean up my face after the last fight. And I was like, no. He's like, you're the first person who's ever told me do not clean the blood off. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I like my blood.
Hold on. You know how some fighters have like iconic poses or like the iconic motion? Like this one has to be yours, right?
Yep.
I mean, and so for the audio listeners, we're showing the picture where you took the blood on your last fight and we're pulling it across your cheek, tongue out, so excited.
People always think I was licking. I was like, I'm not licking my blood. So I know I look really, really light skinned, but my mom's German and British, but my dad's Mexican. My family's from they're from San Julian, Jalisco. My dad's I'd be fourth generation American. He's third. Like so they're Hispanic, and it's like to me, it's like Aztec warrior because that's where our family. They say that they're from Aztecs, so it's like that Aztec sort of thing. I love my Mexican heritage. I always grew up more towards that side. I was always more towards my dad's side. I have a cousin on my mom's side. We're a month apart, so I'm really close to him, but I just always identified more with my Mexican heritage.
And you wear it like it's war paint. Like you go in there, like it's like you smell it all over. Like wow, like yeah.
I love it. I'm one of those that don't feel like I'm in a fight unless I have blood, and I don't care if it's mine or theirs. I'm like, if it's mine, all better. I don't care.
The picture that we just showed, which was your last fight, that was a draw. I gave you that fight.
Was actually that fight. The one that you just showed actually was from Kansas. So that was the one that I won.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. But in your last fight, you were also going crazy too with the blood being all excited. You heal very well.
Oh yeah.
How I don't understand if you're like Wolverine or like what's going on. How are you like your face like? Is it makeup? Like what's going on that you're healing so fast?
This is all that I have is this sort of little scar right there. So it's a couple things. I am a kinesiology major. I actually went to school for So I
am too.
School. So I did ATA. It's pretty much athletic trainer sort of because the aid thing is sort of frowned upon, but it's basically an internship. I did that at one of the community colleges. So I learned a lot about getting rid of scar tissue and stuff because that's what I wanted to do. But now I'm sort of leaning more on PA because I'll be done at the end of this year with my bachelor's. So I think I want to just go straight into like medical field because that's sort of what I always wanted to do anyways.
Nice.
So a lot of it is from what I already know from school. And then on top of that, like it's very superficial in BKFC. A lot of the stuff is just cuts and you just swell a lot. So a lot of that stuff does go away really quickly. But one thing that I've used a lot more in all my fights is that head movements. Because I always used to roll with the punches, but now it's a little bit more. I still am working on the footwork, but like the head movement has come in beautifully since my first fight there. And so I don't take as much damage, even though those cuts look crazy because I bleed like crazy because I'm very healthy too. I mean, you're a kinesiology major, most of us, we know what we're supposed to do. We don't always do it, but when you're in fight mode and you're in fight camp, you are 100% on with that nutrition. Nice. So I'm going to bleed a lot because I'm hydrated.
Nice. And so for those that don't know, when you're saying PA, you mean physiotherapy assistant?
No, I want to be a physician assistant.
Physician assistant. Okay.
Yeah, I actually want to get into the medical field. I'd love to be a sports physician.
Nice.
Need something that's going to make me extra money while I'm in there.
Yeah. Well, now that you've just announced that on the podcast, I can feel like a whole bunch of guys in California giving themselves rotator cuff tendonitis or something. Like they're ready to sign up for your clinic. Like once you get it going.
I love it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Now, BKFC, like you said, they were focusing on you. They're giving you some love. How is the relationship with the organization? Like it's a good organization. They're treating you well, obviously.
Yeah, they're amazing. So I've always gotten along well. I was a manager for a retail store forever, so I know how to network. I know how to talk to people. I had associates, so I always go in very professional. It's just how I am. It's just in my nature, and so I always get along really well with the people that I work with. And they overall have been amazing. I mean, I have before when I was fighting for Combate, I didn't have the CEO's like phone number. I have David's number. I've texted him before, Nate. So they're really, really cool guys. And they talked to me after, right after my fight. David was on this last one on the New York card. He was really happy. He was up there on the ring. He told me, he gave me like good job, and he talked to me a little bit after. So they're amazing. I love working with them, Nate. I know matchmakers get like that love-hate relationship because you always go happy and mad with the matches, but he's amazing. I always have a good conversations with them. Nothing but love with, even with the fellow fighters. I know there's opponents and stuff. Can you not hear it? Yeah, even with the fellow fighters, like there's some of them when I go, I'm like surprised how much they're like, I'm so happy you're on this card with me. I was like, oh hi.
No, that's awesome.
Wow. It's like when you start a shift and your favorite employees are on the same shift with you. You're like, hey, what's going on? You're on the same shift. Yeah.
Yeah, Julie. So Julian Lane's been on 2 of my fights, and the Wichita one, like it was really cool. His daughter was like, because when I fought Gonzalez, he did the weigh-ins right before me, and he had that crazy one with him in Boswick. So his daughter will announce like he's announcing him, and I guess he told me he announces me after. Well, he happened to be on the phone with her, and he made her do it while I was next to her. That he turned the thing to me, and I was like talking to her. It was really cool. She's like 5. It was so cute.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool. Like those are the kinds of things that you see the impact with.
That's awesome. Now, aside from the organization loving you and the fans loving you, am I wrong to think that Dan Mergliotta loves you?
No.
Why?
So I've talked to him a couple of times. He's actually pretty cool, but I saw he's been I usually don't know who my ref is even till after I see the pictures.
Okay.
So I noticed recently, I was like, I think he's been my ref for all my fights.
But in your last fight, and so to our fans and viewers that don't watch BKFC, and we tell them to watch BKFC all the time. I'm telling you right now, that's the number 2 combat sport organization. Like behind UFC, definitely. You got to be watching BKFC. It's like $5 a month. Like, how can you not be paying for these events? It is so high quality. We had he was on your card, Connor Tierney.
Yes,
he was on our podcast last year. Great guy, right? Like great personalities in the sport. But Dan Mergliotta seemed to keep like he was smiling with you. He was like he seemed like so happy and chummy with you. Like it just was such a nice thing. Like, do you know him a lot, or what's the deal?
I've talked to him a couple times after my fights because we're in the vans together a lot of times. So this last one was in the same hotel as we were staying, but our fights usually aren't. They're usually in the center that's separate, but where we were in New York, we were in the same one. But Kansas, like we had a conversation. I always talk to everybody because for me, this is fun. Like I know some people like get really, really like into like I'm sort of like that before my fights, but I'm totally not. I'm really calm and I'm still like I get into my fight mode, but I'm not that one that has to be angry at everything. Because I know a couple people you get in there, they look like they're angry at life. That's not me. I'd rather sort of feel comfortable and confident when I'm going in. And so, I mean, I'm okay chatting with people, and I don't care how I look after. I don't care how beat up I am. I still make sure I have fun because these are all memories to me that you're gonna have, and I try to make the most of it. So I've talked to him a couple of times after, and nice. I think after the Wichita one, we had a little bit of a long conversation on the way home. So I think they just know me. I have that like really free, caring, loving sort of personality. I'm very down to earth. So
no, but it looked like he knew you. I'll just put a quick photo, but I don't know. I've never seen Dan so happy. Like while he's reffing, he was just a happy guy.
I was so after that fight, I was like over there talking to everybody. I don't even know who everybody was around me, but I mean, I knew my coaches and like my agent was up there with me, the other corner, but some of them I didn't even know who were there, and I was just talking to everybody, and I think it just rubs off.
Nice.
Oh, it's like, hey Dan, can you drop me off to the hospital?
Hey, I didn't need to go to the hospital after that one. I had stitches.
Okay? Right?
Are you BKFC for life now?
Oh, I'll still do other things, but 100%. Like I don't see me going anywhere else. I mean, I think I found the sport that I've fallen in love with. I love just focusing on the hands, and I like the blood and the water. I just do. It's just when you know that I'm in a fight, you know that's what I'm gonna try to pull out of people. Whether it's like I try to go in there, I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna try to box a little bit and then go in, and it just something snaps. Like, nope, that's not happening today. I'm just going in. That's it. I'll fight in the pocket. I don't care. I'm always a smaller person. This last one
Yeah.
I wasn't, but usually I'm always the smaller, shorter person.
All
Shorter
right.
reach, smaller fist. I don't care.
No, it's great.
That makes
No,
us.
and for people that have been watching, I mean, you know, your skill has been developing and growing
Oh
as you go, but the fights are getting more. I feel like all the fighters, their skills are getting better,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like BKFC is becoming a more its own sport rather than just people trying it. Like people are now really dedicating themselves to it. So I'm happy to hear that you're going to be BKFC for a long time. We're
Oh
excited
yeah.
to see it. Now, when it comes to your weigh-ins,
Mhm.
your weigh-in attire is interesting,
I
and
love it. I have fun.
I want to okay. So I don't. I'm not going to put a picture up. People can Google it. People will know. But I want to ask, how
Hey,
come
there's
no?
a picture where it's like half, where it doesn't really show much. I'm like,
Okay, all right, all right. How come no sponsors are plastering their logos on your weigh-in
I don't
attire?
know. It's sort of hard. So with BKFC, it's a little hard because they had that one incident where I know like one person doesn't want to do my t-shirts anymore because of that one incident that happened a while back. I mean, we don't really talk about it a lot with Thornton when
Okay.
DC fought Thornton. So I don't know. You would think. I know I've heard people say that they try to do it, but it's all like I weigh in just like female boxers weigh in. They do it all the time. Men weigh in their boxers all the time. There's no difference from what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
I'm all just
yeah. I
because I'm
think there's a
a
little
girl.
bit of a difference.
I'm all because I'm a female, and I mean I look better in my. I look better in mine than they do in theirs. Not my fault.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. All right. All right.
I'm all.
Um,
It covers more than my bathing suits do. I'm all. And I was wearing, I've worn my bathing suits to my weigh-ins plenty of times, and they were way more
Mhm.
revealing than that. But I
all
guess
right.
the lingerie gets a little more love.
Yeah, sure. Um, we will move on to some fan questions, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Now, Charisa, of course, a lot of the fan questions we get are, what's your type? You know, can we make out? Stuff like that, right? I got a lot of those. We'll filter those out. I thought one was pretty funny. It was, have you ever dated an amateur fighter? I'm assuming this guy was an amateur fighter, but have
so
you ever?
that's actually a hard pass. Like I will never date anybody in the workplace. I will never date because I the one thing that would be cool is everything would be in common as far as like liking the same things, but I'm around nothing but men and fighter all time, all day. It's nice to get something a little bit different, and then I
Mhm.
just see like how it happens, like what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they say don't take crap where you eat. So it's sort of like the same sort of thing, whether they're in a different camp or not. And well, it's the same because you never know what if you're in two different camps and then you have somebody that's fighting that's from their school, one from
Yeah.
your school, then it's just weird. Yeah.
All right. Good advice
And then
for
I
everybody
knew
out
how
there.
hard it was up and coming, so I'm like, it was already. I'm barely getting to where making it where I can sustain with the amount of money that's coming in from my stuff. Not looking to take care of somebody else other than my kids.
Yeah. All right. There you go. This question was kind of along that line, but I thought this one was funny. It's at mail.gmy, mael.gmy. His question was, I want to fight you. Now I looked and I'm pretty sure it's a guy. So, but I'm sure that kind of tails in.
That's
Do you
actually not
have
uncommon.
do you have people asking to spar with you, fight with you a lot? Is that a thing?
All the time, all the time. Yeah,
All right.
all the time. Come on,
All right.
for
And
fun.
you're not pulling like a Kevin Holland where you bring people in and just beat
No,
them up. No.
no.
Okay.
Just destroy him.
I
Yeah.
try
Just
to
killing.
fight as much as I can, and like imagine like I try because I try to get in there every three. I mean, this last one was 5 months. I'm like, man, I wanted it to be three. It was supposed to be January. Imagine getting hurt like sparring somebody like that because those are the crazy ones. You don't know what's
Yeah.
coming in. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I wouldn't win. I'm just saying that like the ones that you don't know what they're coming in and bringing, you don't want. I'm a black belt in jujitsu.
Yeah.
The new
Ooh.
Oh,
white belts, yeah. I've had my
spazzy.
Yes, the spazzy white belts. Yeah, those are the ones you try to stay away with, especially as we get older.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what it is because you're professional. You
Mhm.
get paid to do it, and they got something to prove. Like, yo, if I
Oh yeah,
submit you or knock you out, yeah, look at me. I got
yeah.
that one under the belt. That's why they're going to town, right?
Oh yeah. Well, even before when I was barely in combate and I wasn't as big, like people knew that I did MMA, but it wasn't like, oh, like now it's like, oh, you're so and so, and they like want to take a picture. Like they didn't do that when I did MMA. So even when I was doing MMA, when it wasn't that huge, just get that regardless, because a lot of time, I mean, you're in a male dominated like sport, so you get those guys that either want to treat you like you're a porcelain doll, or you get the guys that are like, you girl can't beat me, that's it, and they like go like all crazy. There's people that are good in between, but we know which are which.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I watch people before I spar or train with them.
Now, I don't know if this person knows that you're Mexican. I feel like this is Portuguese, though, maybe. At Gabriel Reina 87 asks, and I don't know how to pronounce this, Boxe sem luvas pajabem? All right. I used Google Translate. What he's saying is, does bare knuckle boxing pay well?
Oh,
And you
BKFC
kind of
does.
just, yeah, and you're happy with it, yeah,
Oh,
and
I'm
things are
very
good.
happy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was more when I first started, it was more than like double what I was getting paid in MMA, and that was just starting. And then, I've gotten 2 fight of the nights, I've gotten 2 bonuses. I mean, it's not, they don't do like UFC style bonuses, but the bonuses are still nice. Like
Yeah, of
it's
course.
extra money that you didn't know was coming in, and they've taken care of me. And the one thing that we get more, because since I was fighting for Combate, like they allowed sponsors, but it wasn't as big, even though they were televised. I think because BKFC is growing so much, a lot more people are willing to jump on. So the sponsor money really, really makes it like way more than what I ever
Nice.
got in MMA. Yeah.
The thing is with BKFC too, because like I said, the app is so cheap. Like it's only the
Mhm.
$5. You think like, I don't know, everybody that I talk to, I'm like, just pay the $5. How's that not worth $5 for all these events?
It's
Like,
less than a gallon of gas right
right.
now. It's
and
less than
yeah,
coffee
and not only
for
that,
the
yeah,
month.
exactly. It's like a cup of coffee. And the thing that's different too is that like the sponsors must know, like, holy cow, wait,
Yeah.
they're putting this out for so cheap. So many people are going to watch. Your opportunity to have your business or company seen
Uh-huh.
is like huge, right? So
Oh, it's definitely huge. I mean, there and now, so I don't know how many people know, but on the New York card, I think because originally when I saw how they were, if you know BKFC, if you go to their events page on the website, usually how they have the fighters listed is how they're gonna do their fight card before they actually announce, like have the actual graphics up like in the background. Um, so originally, I think we were like supposed to be the second fight on the main card, and then eventually we were like the fifth one. I can't remember, fifth, sixth. Well,
yeah,
that was the first one on Fox Deportes, because that was their first time airing on Fox Deportes. And I was like, oh, I know why they want us on there, because when they put me on Knucklemania, we were a swing bout, so that was basically where we could be like anywhere in Knucklemania. So they had us either being the last on the prelim or the first on the main card, and we ended up, because how it went, the fights in the beginning went a little over, so they put us on the main card, and they know that if they want to go out like start with a bang, put me on the first card, and that's what you're gonna get. So I
nice.
feel like that was one of the reasons why they did that. And then plus, I mean, I do have from fighting for Combate and people that actually have followed me for a while, they know I'm Hispanic. Although I've gotten a couple comments before where people are like, "You're just trying to be." I'm like, "No, I have a picture of my dad. It wouldn't let me like put it in the comments. He's like really, really dark." It's like, you see my dad, you know he's Mexican. I
Nice.
was like, I told
Uh,
you that from my mom.
Michael.Safert77 asks, what is your favorite band or musician?
So I love everything. I actually love Fall Out Boy, and I actually love a lot of country. Like, I don't know, my kids love going to Fall Out Boy concerts with me. We were supposed to do the Green Day one, but I love everything. I mean, I listen to a little bit of everything right now. It's more mainly country because when I listen to like regular the top 40 music, it's it's always playing the same stupid songs over and over again. That's been the last year. So I'm like, let me go back to country.
Nice.
Get a little bit like it's like that when you have to smell coffee because you're done with the fragrance. That's like that's my country.
Resets you.
Yes, resets.
David _ Branham. I love this question. It's two-parter. What is the first thing you think people notice about you? And what is the first thing you wish they noticed about you?
Oh, it's the tattoos.
Okay.
No, most people, I mean, I'm not stupid. I was like the one thing that I think most people know me for is because I have a very large chest, which is totally fine. But I mean, for me, I think for me, most people that actually know will the personality. Personality. I love my tattoos are part of my personality. I think between the two, I think that's usually what I get a lot of comments on or one or the other. So, I mean, my tattoos weren't all supposed to be this big and colored, but when I started one, I kept going and I'm like, I'm still not done because before that New York fight, I think 6 weeks before, yeah, it was 6 weeks before, I had just added a little more color to my dragon on my back and I'm supposed to
That's
finish it. Yeah.
the one on the side. Yeah, because it was really green. Like it was really dark colored. I was like, oh, it looks bright. Like
Yeah, I
it
had
looked
done it
good.
6 weeks before. So he had started 2 years ago and it was supposed to be done 2 years ago. But then I started really getting into I knew I was in a fight for either combate or something else. So I stopped with the tattoos for a little bit because I knew I was going to continuously be in camp. And my tattoo artist is like, you can go back as soon as you want to. Like he doesn't make me wait. He just said, make sure you like wear a rash guard or something because the scare is more if you're like sitting in somebody else's sweat because you don't want
Yeah.
you don't want the infections. So as long as with boxing you don't have to worry about it as much. But this one because of where the color was, it was on that shoulder blade. Oh, it was hard with the boxing. So all that's left is the bottom. I made him do that on purpose. I was like, I need it colored. I'm tired with the black and white on the side. I need it done. So I have another. I'm going back to finish it in April.
All right, nice. But what is the thing that you would like people to notice first
The
about you?
personality. Yeah, the personality.
Personality?
Yeah, the
Personality?
personality. Yeah.
All
The
right.
smile, the personality. I mean, I love to be around people. And it's funny because I think people will see me and they'll want to say something, or people will even like at my fights, but and I've had people comment that they sort of like a little bit like hesitant to say hi. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting bigger in the BKFC or if they're scared to talk to a girl, but I'm love talking to people because that's the reason why I'm here. It's the only reason why they keep bringing me back is the love from the fans, and I love that.
Yeah, and you know what? Now it's hard to picture you now because I see you here and you're so nice and bubbly and
Yeah.
so personable, and then now you see you in the ring. It's like a
Uh-huh.
totally different person.
Totally.
Well,
Switches. I
right?
have that switch. I'm a mom, and that's my mom face. You're my kids. That's what I'm gonna turn into.
Yeah,
So
no,
unless you turn her my kids, I won't turn into the ring girls.
Oh
yeah.
man, I thought the mom stage where you're like, you left a pile of plates in the sink. Ugh.
That too. My kids, I always tell them when they piss me off. I'm like, do you want to be the next one? Because I will make you my next
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
my son's in wrestling and he's actually my same weight. About to be 16. So I always am his training partner. It's fun.
Oh, wow.
He
That's
tries
awesome.
to take me down. He'll try to like pretend to like punch me. I'm like, you don't want to go there with me.
Yeah.
Now, do your
You're grounded for a month.
do your kids' friends know who you are?
I'm told that they do because like once in a while they'll say things. I know the parents know who I am because I've talked to the parents.
Okay.
But I try not to make it a big deal because I want my kids to feel normal and everything. And I think because it's just growing up, my daughter's boyfriend knows who I am, and his family knows who I am. So my kids are all older. My oldest, that's with the boy, has a boyfriend. She's 20, so she's not little. My other two, my youngest daughter is 14, and then my son's 15. He'll be 16 soon. So none of them are little.
I'm betting that boyfriend brings her home on time every time, 100%
Oh
of the
yeah,
time.
oh yeah. You gotta be scared. I know most time boys are scared of the dad. No, you gotta be scared of the mom. I'm like way more psycho.
Are you that mom where you sit in the bleachers and all the parents kind of like apart? Like you're like the only person in the middle of the bleachers. Like
I feel
everybody's
like
like
that
10 feet
sometimes.
apart.
I feel like that sometimes. I'm like, is nobody gonna talk to me?
And you're like, "Hey, guys."
No,
Like,
it's crazy though, because we've been like, we've been reaching out to you. We've wanted to talk to you for so long, and just things happen. But we're so happy that you came on. But yeah, we have no idea how people are going to come on this podcast, right, Prince? Like,
yeah,
we never know the personality they're going to have. And here you show up, and I said before the podcast started, like, perfectly lit. You're in a great room and bubbly personality. So I mean, definitely, it's the thing that we notice most about you. So thank you
yes.
so
Thank
much.
you.
You know, what before we let you go, and I know we're going a little bit long. I apologize.
You're fine.
What is next for you? Do you know, like, I know you just fought, but is it 3 months, do you think, is when you're looking again?
I'm trying to get back as soon as I can. I'd
Mm.
love to get whoever I can fight. I hear they have a London card and somebody needs an opponent. Like, I definitely love to be that opponent and love to be on that card. So, I mean, I got into fighting. The one reason why I was like, oh, I'd love to like fight, especially when I fought for Combate, was because I was like, oh, I can go travel to like different like countries where, I don't have to pay for the tickets. So, you know.
Nice.
you know,
Uh,
I'm ready. Whatever, and whoever they give me, I'm ready for. I don't really care. I'm just like that one. Like, okay, tell me how much I'm getting paid. Sign the contract. All right, let's go.
Wow, so
and
you're really just in it for the experience, just to
Oh,
be able to
definitely.
give. Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
100%. I love this. Because I mean, I'm very confident in myself, and I know no matter what, like I'm always learning. And you can't I mean, you can be one of those that try to pick your opponent, but in the reality, like they're only going to give you so many people that you can choose before they're like, okay, we're done with you. So I'm like, you can't choose. It's what they give you, and I'm not going to say no. So I'm going to try to pick. Once I find out who that person is, I'm going to try to figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are, and try to fix. Have my coaches help me fix that in myself, or try to get ready for that.
Charisa, I can't believe you're on this podcast. We're so happy to have you. Before we let you go, is there anything that you wanted to say to any of the fans or your fans, or anybody that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, so thank you again for having me. So I do have a website. It's actually attached to my Instagram now, where there are like autographed images, and I have shirts and stuff up. I'm on Millions, Cameo. I guess there's Memo now. I don't know. So they want like video things, they can go on those. But I definitely want to give a huge shout out to my management company, Sucker Punch Entertainment. They're awesome. They have done and helped me out so much. I got with them after my first fight with BKFC. They were my first management company, and they've taken care of me really well. And then Pete from Whitetail, he's awesome. He's like one of my main sponsors. He sponsored me on this last one. He actually got a hold of me after my Wichita one, and he's been awesome so far. So and he's a great person. I love working with him. And then just BKFC for having me on there. So David Feldman and Nate Shook, thank you for continuously having me back. I love it. And I love to see the fans' reactions, that they love watching me fight. Because, even though that's not what I do it for, I love to have that part of it.
Wow.
That's amazing. Charisa, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We will always be fans of yours. We will follow your career forever. We'll always talk about you. Whenever your fights are coming up, we'll promo you on the podcast. We'll get people to keep tuning in on you. And if you're not already following Charisa, please follow her. She's at Charisa_Sweetheart.
And
And
that's on Instagram and TikTok. And then on Twitter, it's BKFC Sweetheart.
nice, nice. All right. Well, Charisa, thank you so much. We hope to have you back one day.
Yes,
And
definitely.
keep racking up those bonuses, keep racking up those fight of the nights and those performance of the nights, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
Teresa, I'm
so
so
much.
sorry about the messing up
Oh,
your name again. We're
you're
gonna
good.
edit it. Don't worry. I apologize. I'll get it right the next time.
You are okay. I'm okay with it.
All right, thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Teresa. Have a great day. Bye
You too.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
All
she's so
righty.
cool, man.
How cool is that? Oh man, you know how long I've been wanting to speak with her. Like, she's just such a great personality, and her fighting style is just, she's just a warrior, right? Like, man,
But
I'm
you
so
know,
excited for that.
you're absolutely right. Like you just don't know how some of our guests will
No.
be on the podcast, and Man, look at her. She's solid. Like, wow.
Yeah, man, that's so cool. No, you never know how people are going to appear. All right, you never know how people are going to act or behave or whatever. Before we get on to anything else, Prince, let me just say thank you to our sponsors. So middaysquares.com, guys. If you want to support the show, definitely go to middaysquares.com and use code FIGHTINSIGHT15 to save 15% on your order. They do have a new flavor coming out. It's not out yet, but it's birthday cake flavor, I think.
Ooh.
I'm so excited. I love birthday cake. And follow and check out our sponsor, Arvita, RVIITA, for these herbal teas. The one I'm drinking today is Divine Strawberry. It's strawberry, organic honey, black tea, and guarana seed extract. It just tastes really good. I love these ones. I love the peach and the peach and the strawberry are my favorites.
And also, guys, special shout outs to Hula Cleaning Services. Again, contact Hula Cleaning Services for all your carpet, fitness, commercial, construction, and cleaning needs. You can check them out at www.hulacleaning.com.
Nice. And next week on the podcast, if you're here just because of Charisa was here, thank you. Next week, we have Bellator #9 ranked light heavyweight Grant Neal. He's on the podcast. He's got a fight coming up, so we're going to talk to him, see how that's going. So we're going from BKFC over to Bellator. Friends of the podcast update, Prince. 2 of our former guests fight on April 2nd in a event in Ontario, Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Brandon Lau and William Wang are both fighting amateur Muay Thai fights on April 2nd. Good luck to them. Find their podcast. William Wang is on the Juju Chan Zito podcast with the movie star Juju Chan, and Brandon was on a podcast like way back a million years ago when we just started.
Yeah.
Find them. The Brandon Lau one is the one that's called 50 Cent versus the Whale. So that's the podcast there. That was when we were naming podcasts funny names.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Daniel Martinez. Last week we announced he was engaged. This week we're announcing he's married.
Oh,
that's it, ladies. Your chance is over. You had that small window of opportunity. It is gone. Daniel Martinez married. Congratulations, buddy.
Congrats, buddy.
Huge congratulations go to
Brian Bam Bam Barberena.
That son of a bitch, Prince. He told us he would not stress us out, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. We'll watch Bam Bam whoop Matt Brown's ass in one round, finish it, and let's move on with our day. No, he drags out the fight for 3 rounds.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you, Tim. I actually wanted Bam to prolong this, trying to stretch it out.
Oh my god, dude, it was so friggin' dangerous.
I know.
That fight was crazy. If you did not watch the Brian Barberena fight, go find that. It earned Fight of the Night award, which marks, Prince, like our 5th or 6th fighter on the podcast that after coming on our podcast gets a Performance of the Night award.
Yeah.
Bam Bam has done it twice. Jian Kim did it. Connor Tierney did it. Lupi Godinez did it. Sam Alvey did it. And I think I'm missing one more. That's 7 that I just said. I'm telling you, there's a thing here.
Yeah, no, there is. And we got to tell Bam, like, Bam, look, when did we tell you? We told you, come to the show and we guarantee you extra money.
I mean, that one's a little bit unfair to be, because he's got, I think, 3 Fight of the Nights in his last 4 fights or something. He racks up one. Dude, him standing in the pocket, clinching Matt Brown, and they just throw elbows into each other's side of the head for 3 rounds.
But you know what? Shout outs to Matt Brown's chin. Like, I don't know how he did it, but there was a couple of times where, it looked like Bam had him. Like, he threw a couple of combos that I'm like, this guy is still standing.
Yeah, brutal.
He's 41 years old, Tim.
Matt Brown, 41?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how I felt at 41? Like, I was dying. Like, it's over. I don't know what Matt Brown is doing. He's great. I do wish the people of Columbus were a little bit nicer. I know Matt Brown is from your hometown, but when Brian Barberena gets on the mic, Brian Barberena is not an ass. You don't need to boo that guy that long. I get that you boo him a little bit because you're upset with the decision. That's okay. But then Brian starts talking, as he does. Hey, people of Columbus, I love you. I'm a working blue collar guy myself and blah, blah. And I wish you all the best. Like, the guy still gives love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Brian is just the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah, you know what? And he handled it so well. Like
Yeah,
he
handled it well.
anyone could have just said, you guys, like, I'm number one. Like, I won. I don't know why you guys.
Yeah.
But he just look how so professional, a
Yeah.
gentleman.
Yeah. No, crazy. But yeah, so some crazy stuff has happened with our friends of the podcast. Prince is just hilarious, man. Let's see. What do we want to get to first, I guess, is there's no fights this weekend. There's no UFC. So we don't have to worry about a card there. So we've got a little bit of time. But I don't know. I guess the one thing we'll really talk about is
The king of
Miami, the Prince of Bel Air, and the Protector of Detroit. So there's these three people we got to talk about.
That is sick.
Okay. Obviously, King of Miami, we talked about on the last podcast, but we talked about Masvidal punching Colby in the face, right? And what does that mean? Still no word, no update on what's going on there in terms of like the legality or what's happening, charges, press, whatever. I posted, Prince, on our Instagram a photo that just says Masvidal to be released by UFC, right? Like, let's start a discussion. Is there the chance that Masvidal, who's on a 3-fight losing streak, lost several fights, not looking great, then he goes out and injures a top ranked fighter, potentially removing him from a future card, right, while he deals with injuries, whatever. Like, is there the possibility that Dana goes, hey, we just gave you this big contract, you kind of got beaten up for 5 rounds, didn't really look too impressive, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with you now, we might just let you go. Dude, that post is on fire.
Oh my gosh.
People are fighting, complaining, arguing. If you're not on our Instagram, go to our Instagram at Fight Insight Podcast and go find that post and just join the discussion because it's going crazy. But we'll have to see what happens with that. I reached out to Daniel Martinez. He says the minute something happens with the legality of that thing, he'll come back on the podcast and we can talk about it.
Nice.
And see what happens.
And guys, whoever's on Instagram and commenting, guys, it's not clickbait. It's a question. We asked you a question and we went up with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what the best is? When people go on the post and they go, fuck you, this is clickbait. I'm like, well, guess what? That comment just helped send this feed to like more people, stupid. So I don't that's not the point. It's for discussion because I honestly think they will let Masvidal go. I really do think they're going to cut him because I think he's not worth the money. I don't know what you're doing next. I couldn't find the pay-per-view sales for Colby versus Masvidal, but I did see that Usman won when he fought Usman the first. So his last 3 fights were Usman, and Colby.
Yeah.
Usman 1 sold 1.4 million. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But Usman 2 was only 700K.
Oh.
So I don't know what this next one is, but if that one is on a trending decrease, I don't know what you're paying this guy, man. So anyways, that's interesting. Prince, even more interesting than that fight, that's the King of Miami. But you got the Prince of Bel Air.
Who can't wait to see it? All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Will
That's fake, right?
Man, like everyone says it's real. To me, honestly, I keep looking at it. It looked staged. Didn't it look staged? Like the way his head kind of.
Okay, so you say it's staged?
Yes. For the sake of it.
I say it's staged 100%. I was watching it live and I didn't even bat an eye thinking that was real in any way. How do you, like, the guy's holding his hand behind the back the whole time. When he gets hit, you hear it go boom.
Yeah.
When I was watching it on TV, I thought that was a sound effect. It's actually just like the mic or something. But I thought they played a sound effect. So even more so, I was just like, oh, for sure it's fake. No security walks up.
Yeah.
He doesn't stumble. Like, how do you get hit that hard and not like even stumble your feet or like whatever? And how would your reaction is to immediately just stand there and go, oh, ha, ha. Like, how would you not like right away go like, what the fuck? Or like any kind of natural reaction, or like when the guy goes to slap you, why wouldn't you like put up a hand or do something? I don't know.
You know what? And I don't know if you've been following the news. It looks like Chris's Rock. He's going on tour. He's doing his comedy tour, and his comedy tour sales went through the roof since
Oh,
that
sure,
happened.
because now he's going to have to talk about it at every event he goes. Here's Joe Rogan. Just today, I got this off MMA Junkie on the screen. You will see it. Sorry about the banner here. Hold on. So Joe Rogan says Will Smith was being emotionally fragile and he acted on impulse. And I think it's a foolish impulse that you do when you know there's no consequences. What Chris Rock did was not even insulting. It was a mild joke. Of
Mhm.
course, this is coming from another comedian. So, of course, he's
Mhm.
going to kind of take the stance. But essentially, Joe Rogan is also kind of saying, admitting he thinks it's real.
Yeah, but let me ask you: would Will Smith do that to Joe Rogan?
Well, that's the other thing. He does it to a little guy that's like smaller than him and whatever.
Imagine doing that to
I
Joe
mean,
Rogan. He will sidekick you to the chest, put you in rear naked chokehold before you blink.
but everybody would. Like Chris Rock is still like a man. He's not in bad shape or anything like that. You still think he would somehow do some sort of reaction. How do you just let some dude walk up on you, slap you in the face, and do nothing? It's
But yeah,
impossible.
you know what? Okay, so let me. So this is where I think that it's wrong. So Will Smith, like, what are you actually? So what message are you portraying to the kids?
Oh, forget that. That's the thing, right? Like what kind of
Like, so okay,
like
so
how is that at all okay in society? And get this, online, people are a buzz with super contrasting opinions whether that's okay or not. I mean, this somewhat follows like the Masvidal thing, right?
yeah, there you
Masvidal
go.
walks into a restaurant, sucker punches the guy twice, apparently, and then just walks off. And you think like nothing's going to happen to you? No, stupid. And then people are so dumb. Like even on our posts, they're like, "That's what happens, bitch. You get right. You can't talk shit. That's what happened." No, sorry. As Bam Bam said on our last podcast, go watch that podcast. Excellent, excellent podcast.
Excellent.
Bam Bam says you have freedom of speech to allow you to say things, but you don't have the right to just do whatever you want and slap punch the guy in the face. I mean, even if you want to, unfortunately, you don't have that right. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
mean,
how Will Smith thinks he has the ability to do this. And what does this mean for our future in any case scenario?
yeah. So
Like anytime someone at a restaurant speaks badly to me or something, or I say something rude, someone can just come up and smack me in the face.
that's it. And every time you speak, you're gonna be walking on eggshells. Like every
Well,
like
I'm not. I'm looking for someone to speak wrong now
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm like, I got my
Like
Stockton
right
slap
here.
ready. I'm like,
Yeah,
pat. Yeah.
smack. Before you even have your appetizer, you're getting one in the head.
Yeah, dude. That
Ridiculous.
no. I don't know. Now, how do you defend against something like that, Prince? Well, let's go to our former guest of the podcast and check out a defense technique.
Detroit responsible training. Right, I want to share with you how you can prevent yourself from being slapped in the mouth. When you say something about someone's wife, you shouldn't have said in the first place. So, the first thing you should do when the man's coming towards you to confront you, instead of laughing, you simply move off stage left. And if you have to, block. Now, if he's moving too fast, then you're going to have to improvise, which means your head has to go to the side, and then you come up. And from here, you simply push the elbows away and say, "Hey, sorry about what I said about your wife. I apologize," and simply move away from you. These are intelligent options which will increase your survivability.
Commander Dale.
Commander Dale with the perfect explanation, the protector of Detroit, as I named him here for our segment. Yeah, man. How, the guy raises a hand to slap you. He does like an exaggerated slap, and you at no point remove your hands from behind your back, and yet you roll with the slap, and then just come right back up and go, okay. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know.
No, listen. You draw a good point because now you're okay. I didn't think of it that way, but if somebody's coming in front of you, you see them raise their arm over here. I don't
He
think
raises it.
he raises it like you don't even flinch. Like there's not
Yeah,
even
like you know.
emotion.
Yeah,
We waited for that impact.
I don't know. It's crazy, man. But I don't know. I'm gonna go around and start slapping people every time they say something bad,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna see what their reactions are. Like how quickly do they react to me slapping them in the face, or what
yeah.
do they do after? You know, if they just continue to do their job.
Yeah, well, listen. Now Will's never ever gonna be able to, drop a PSA on non-violence.
Yeah. And then, oh, you know what's so funny? I saw a video today of Will Smith on the Arsenio Hall show. Must have been back in the 90s.
Hmm.
And he makes a joke about the band guy, one of the guys in the band for
Yeah,
Arsenio.
yeah.
And the guy is bald. And
Oh,
Will Smith does a joke like, hey, guess what he has to do every morning? He's got to wax his head. And it's like a joke about a guy that likely has the same disease as his wife.
really?
And it's way worse. Like, that's a way worse joke than the one Chris
Oh,
did in terms of like insulting wise.
dang! I wish you
Dude,
brought a.
the
I
internet.
wish you brought a clip. That would have
I
been
sent it to you. I
crazy.
sent it to you. But anyways, the I didn't ask you to record it. But no, crazy dude. I don't know, man. Will Smith. I mean, you can't do this. And then just to come full circle with this whole thing, Prince, let's look at Matt Brown and what he thinks
Oh, yeah.
about society today. Right now, I don't know. This is kind of like the opposite, I guess. But anyways, it's all tied in. Plus, it's Matt Brown, so it's like the
Mhm.
perfect circle of life here, Prince. But here's what Matt Brown, in a interview, this was on MMA Junkie, I want to say.
MMA
But
junkie, yeah.
yeah, this is an interview that he gave in a segment.
You know, I don't think I would excel in the day to day being a PE teacher, but I would love to consult with the schools and teach them, you know, how to not raise these kids to be little bitches. I mean, when I, you know, my kids have their friends over all the time, and I talk to them about, you know, their friends at school and stuff. I mean, these kids are pussies these days, man. And there's no other way to put it. They are straight up pussies. These kids. Maybe it was that way when I was a kid. I don't know. I don't remember being that way. I mean, we got in fights in school all the time, but just when I hear these kids talk and the way my kids talk about them, I mean, the crying, the whining, the complaining, the addiction to their phones and their video games and being inside. I mean, these kids are just pussies, man, and that is not good for our society. And
I feel
A
like
man's man, Prince.
I feel like there was a direct attack towards me and
You?
to both of us.
What?
No, just joking.
No, I
But
mean, it's funny.
yeah, no, you know what? Matt Brown is. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Sean Pearson. Like he scares me. Like
Yeah.
that Sean Pearson vibe.
Yeah, like, but I mean, he's talking about like the way society is, and that's why I also find it so funny that the world has come out on the side of Masvidal and on the side of Will Smith to go, yeah, that's cool. Dude spoke trash about you, about your family, about whatever. Yeah, go in and assault him.
Hmm. Hmm.
Man, I don't know.
So
Like,
okay, so what Matt Brown says. So like,
well,
so
he's just saying society is wussy, right? Like everybody's like a baby and whatever. But yet, as wussy as society is, which if you agree with, I kind of do. But then on the flip side, I'm so surprised that people are okay with supporting these people assaulting people
Mhm,
for
mhm.
words, right? Like,
Yeah, you know what, or maybe what Matt. Okay, yeah, okay, I understand what Matt. I was thinking maybe from a different angle. Maybe Matt was saying like people are like so sensitive that they can't take a joke.
yeah, okay, yeah, sure, let's play it that way. Yeah, that's right too. Like, yeah, you can't take a joke similar to what Rogan says. Like, hey, man, it's just a joke. And now you're so whatever. Now you got to get up and assault the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh shit, that's better. I should edit this podcast so that's the angle we go. Yeah, like that's kind of it, right? Like these people now, you can't even say anything, but yet you have the gall to get up and just like slap the guy in the face or punch him
Yeah.
in the face, sucker punch him while he's at a restaurant. Like, and for these people saying that this is okay, similar to the Kane podcast that we talked about with said Daniel Martinez. If you have not watched that podcast, go watch that immediately. Turn this one off. This one's terrible. Go turn on the Daniel Martinez one. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't take things into your own hands and just go off and commit violence right? Like,
Yeah, that's it. Like,
ugh.
when you're at school or something and somebody calls you a name and it's like you go on a temper tantrum, right? And like,
Yeah, and people think this is okay, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, that's okay." Ben
yeah,
Askren, yeah, if I can't live in a country where I can't shoot someone in the face, what? Like, what? This is not an option, people. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Society is a mess. We're
yeah,
doomed.
yeah.
You know,
It's
any
it's
minute now.
it's it's hard just because I mean, again, you have people that people that look at Will as a role model, as a person who's got has done stuff, you know,
Crazy.
right, and then pull this off. They're like, wow, so it is okay to do this stuff.
Everybody thinks it's real, right? Like a lot of people think it's real, but I do know quite a few people that think it's fake. But I would say the majority of people seem to be thinking this is real. And they go, well, of course, blah, blah. I'm going to show you something that happened in, I want to say the 70s. I
Yeah,
don't know when this, is it 70s? Do you know?
yeah, no, but
Very,
it feels like
okay. I
it.
mean, by the look of it, very famous on David Letterman. This is Jerry the King Lawler. You
Yep,
know him from WWF, WWE. He was in a feud with a comedian and actor who was on the Taxi called Andy Kaufman.
yep.
Check out this. That was a short clip of Jerry the King Lawler slapping the taste out of the mouth of Andy Kaufman. They were in a much publicized war, like argument,
Mhm.
and they go on David Letterman. You can watch the whole segment. I did yesterday. They get into an argument on the set, and Jerry Lawler gets up and slaps him in the face to the point where he falls off the chair, like wails on him. Do you know they took that to their grave? Andy Kaufman has passed away.
Yep.
It didn't come out until 10 years after Andy Kaufman passed away that that was fake. They held that that was real for decades.
Wow.
So people thinking like, oh, if this was fake, Chris Rock would come out now and they would joke about it and blah blah. No, this is one of those things that will go down forever and no one will ever know the story.
Wow. It's in that category.
I think so, man. Because I agree, if they wanted to say it was fake, they would have done it now. But I don't think that's real at all. So then my only thing is that no, they're gonna just hold on to the story forever to be a thing.
Wow. Okay, so then
I
you
don't
know
know.
what? If you guys haven't seen Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey, he plays.
Right. That's the character, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, just watch it so you get a little bit of a context of that video. But did you hear what Jim Carrey said?
No, no, what did he say?
So he said that if it was him and if he got slapped, he would have sued Will Smith for 600 million because that video would be online forever. And then he was
Mm-hmm.
saying that the people in the Oscars were spineless because they gave him a standing ovation during his a victory speech for his role in
See, but
Canadian.
again, okay, but again, yeah, but again, that's why it has to be fake. And I'm not saying everybody would be in on it, but you don't know what people know. It's just too crazy. Anyways, this
Okay,
is
so you know what? Anyone who's watching this right now, Fight Inside Podcast listeners, viewers, we call it as fake. And when they
yeah,
do,
100% it's fake. And maybe about 10 years after we're dead, it's going to come out that it's fake. So, just let our children know that we were right so that they can say told you so. But yeah,
yes,
no, man. No. Prince, yeah, there really wasn't that much fight news to talk about today. So we wanted to have Charisa on. I can't believe you got the name wrong.
I know that.
Charisa on. Amazing. We're so happy to have her. So thank you, Charisa, for coming on. Prince, what else do we have to say? Anything else? We're
Yeah,
good, right? Everybody knows where to
guys.
follow us.
Yeah, again, don't forget to follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, listen to us on Spotify, and follow us on Twitter and TikTok as well. So the meme game is strong. The video reels are strong.
The verbal fighting is on. I'm going to get back to it right now. Prince, have a good one, buddy. We had a great time with Charisa talking about the Oscars, talking about Matt Brown calling society a bunch of wimps. We brought in Commander Brown. Oh, that's what I want to say very quickly. People are still being rude to Commander Brown. That's how I also wanted to tie it in. man, people are still rude to him. I'm still defending him online with people that are just being blatantly rude. I can't believe it. People are just so stupid. Yeah, Matt Brown, I'm with you. Society's horrible.
Yeah, brutal. And
Terrible.
guys, in TikTok as well too. Like you should see these guys
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
oh, it's the
brutal.
worst.
The worst. Prince, next week, again, Grant Neal, Bellator. There's going to be an amazing UFC card in 2 weeks. So we
Yep.
will talk about all that, whole lot more. Subscribe to us. There's going to be some videos around here. You can click on those things. Prince, goodbye, my friend.
Take
See you
care,
next
my
week.
friend. Fight Insight Podcast.
We'll be back.